Okay, I've gotten a lot of requests. Well, it's been for the last several months and stuff like that concerning to do a bigger hobo for people. Now, this will be a little bit more difficult project for a beginner. I have to admit that, but people said, well, I'd like to do a hobo, or I'd like you to do a hobo, but a bigger one. I've done a small one, but I've had a lot of requests to do a bigger one, more of an intermediate carvers perhaps, or whatever. Excuse my voice, I'm a little hoarse today. I've got down the weather's changing so much down here in southeast Texas, it's pitiful. And I've been just working a lot. Anyway, hobos are wonderful characters to do, and here's just a pattern I kind of drew out, and saw a pattern similar to this, and I just kind of drew out a little sketch of a little hobo. In other words, it's kind of a little comical type with the big feet and stuff like that. Something just but hobos are fascinating. I think hobos are very fascinating to people. I've been to there's a little hobo thing up in Tennessee that's neat. I can't remember the name of that place. It's Hobo Village or something like that. But I really admire people who carve hobos, and one of the best is a guy by the name of Don Mertz. Don is he carved a lot of other things, but his hobos are wonderful. He carves he was a pastor. He's a retired pastor now, and he is called a would-be carver, as they call. And you can get on his blog, the Would-Be Carver, and see his work. It's fantastic. I tell you, for being a pastor all his life, God has given him a tremendous gift of carving. And Don's stuff is just absolutely wonderful. And Larry at Little Shavers Wood Carving Supply has a list of hobos there too that he's carved, and so they're just a fun figure to carve. And I drew a little pattern out, and I took the pattern and I cut it off. Just pretty simple. Now this is going to be a little bit larger. This is about almost 2 3/4 inches thick, so he's going to be a little bit bigger project, and more possibly for the intermediate carvers, we might say. I mean, I've had a lot of requests lately. We're going to do some more scout projects. The scouts have written back wanting to do more projects for merit badges and things like that. And but this is just the hobo we're going to do. So this is about about 2 3/4 thick. This is white pine. Someone sent me some white pine, and I really enjoy carving with it. Of course, you got to be careful with it. It's kind of brittle, so you want to be careful, even though it's a good carving wood. And this is our piece, and this is our pattern, and we cut it out on a bandsaw. And let me put this over here like this. Now, if we look at the piece itself, it's basically, what we'll do is on one side we'll put his hands in his pocket. On the other side, I'd like to have him carrying a stick with his clothes on it. In which case, that's going to be something similar to this right here. Something like that, in other words, where he's going to be carrying his arms are going to be like this. But anyway, we'll get into that. Okay, we're going to do this basically with a knife, and as you can see, we have the hairline here. and we have the where the hat goes. Okay, so first thing we want to do is I cut in between the legs just a little bit, but let's go ahead and start removing some wood from the legs so we can kind of bring that This is a little bit bigger project than we normally do. But this, I don't know why hobos are such a fascination, but this is a project that so many people like to do. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to start taking some wood off. Just kind of work around just kind of getting this down a little bit where we can kind of get our legs separated, as we might say. I finally got off my 712s, but I'm just kind of recuperating, folks. You have to forgive me. We almost 2 months of 712. That's been a rough one there, I'll tell you. The shutdown's almost over. So, okay. Let's work on these feet a little bit more. Always like to kind of get things kind of separated. And I like to kind of go up here and just sort of separate the head from the hat. Just sort of give myself a idea of what I want to do. So I can look at my piece. Now with white pine, now I would prefer basswood if you carve this, because white pine is a little bit brittle. You got to be real careful with it. It's light. Someone sent me a piece and I appreciate that. Go. Just sort of like that. Just kind of round off a little bit. Back here, same way. I like to work on the feet first, just sort of get an idea. Okay, here we go.